G'day guys, it's Mark here from North Oz, and in today's video we're going to be doing a long-term product review of the Rhino-Rack Sunseeker Dome 1300 awning. So I've been using this one for quite a while now. There's some things that I like about it, but there's also a few things that I don't like about it, and we'll talk about something that I'm going to be doing, something I'm going to be buying to replace this awning, and I'll tell you all the reasons why in this video. So stick around, it's going to be a good one, and hopefully it'll help you out a little bit as well if you are thinking of getting one of these in the used market, or if you are able to buy one new as well. So we'll start off with some of the good things about it. Number one is that when it's set up, it's really, really tall, which means that even if you have a low vehicle and you set it out, the height of the dome gives you so much room underneath that you probably won't even notice how low it is sitting on your vehicle. So it's been really great having that nice big dome. It's good for some airflow, and also it lets that water just run off it, and it doesn't sit on top of the canvas, and you don't have to poke it with a stick like you do with some of the other awnings. So for me, that's something I really like, is the fact that it is a dome and it is really, really useful in that shape. Another thing is it's a perfect size. I mean, it fits perfectly on the back of my Prado. It doesn't stick out from the sides almost to the millimeter, and it fits really, really nicely. I've got it on these really low Rhino-Rack batwing awning mounts that I kind of had to modify a little bit myself, but having it set a little bit low means that it doesn't get caught up in the wind, but it also looks quite good as well. It doesn't really stand out too much, which is a good thing. In terms of quality, I can't fault it. So it comes with these tent poles, 2 of them, that you use to kind of thread through the canvas, and then you kind of pop it up, and then it turns into basically the dome. So it's basically like a little bit of a tent. And the tent pole things that they have, these telescopic tent pole things, they have held up really well. They haven't broken, and they've, as more time's gone on, they've bent a little bit more, which has made it easier to put them into and through the canvas and set it up. So the quality of this awning has been really good, and I can't fault it for that. So we'll talk a little bit now about, and the canvas as well, guys, has been really good. The water has been running off it, it doesn't soak into it, and it takes very little time for it to dry off. When I get back from my camping trips, I just pop it up, and then we're good to go. After about an hour or so, it's pretty much completely dry. So in terms of the canvas and the quality of the materials that they use, it's been very good. So some of the things that I don't like about it is there's something wrong in terms of the design and the way that this cover works. So when it's raining heavily, water comes down the dome and it drains towards the back as well as the other sides. Unfortunately, when that happens, is it goes through, and then where it meets, where that canvas meets with the plastic covering that we've got on here, is it drips through. So I can have my kitchen set up out here, and it'll be raining, and then I'm getting all of my stuff is getting wet. All my fridge is getting wet, all of my, everything's getting wet, and it just seems to come in from everywhere. So the water comes down and then drips down onto my stuff. So it's not even waterproof under here. And then because it is very narrow, so it starts about here and then starts to move off, because it's very narrow, all it takes is a little bit of wind and the rain's coming straight into the back of my vehicle, wetting everything as well. So one thing that I've noticed is that everything just keeps getting wet in the back of the vehicle, even in the slightest of rains. So I really can't have this back area open at all, because the water just keeps getting into the back area. There's also quite a big gap, and it's probably not really the fault of Rhino-Rack, but it's just what happens when you mount these things on here, is that there is a gap between, basically the door sits quite far back compared to where the awning is. So there is a gap about this much, which means that any rain that comes down is in fact getting through down there as well. So part of the reason why I will be getting rid of this is because it just sits a little bit too far back and the water just keeps getting into the back of the vehicle. Pack-up's not too bad, but it's a setup that kind of bothers me because when I'm setting it up, the tent poles do not like to go into the canvas. I'm not sure if it's because when I roll it up, it kind of shrinks the canvas again, and then, you know, it takes for it to be out for a little while to stretch it again. I'm not sure what it is, but man, it is sometimes, for whatever reason, sometimes it is just such a hassle to set up, and it requires a lot of hand strength and a lot of strength just to be able to get this out and open. And I'll be stuffing around with it for a long period of time, trying to use different angles to try to get this tent pole into the little eyelets, that just to get it to, you know, sit up, to basically stand up. So it's a little bit of a hassle. The other thing as well is that it has these supports that fold out from under it, and then I have the poles that then go down from there, and it's really difficult to do that by myself. And if it's windy, forget about it. If it's the tiniest bit of wind around, it's a two-person job, 100%. So I would say for most people, just putting this up normally with no wind and no rain is probably going to be a two-person job. The next thing is that in the wind and in the rain, it's not good at all. The wind absolutely kills this thing, because I think it might be because of the shape of it. It sticks out quite a lot and the wind can get underneath it, and it makes the even supported down with like all the way, like, you know, bolted down like really, really hard. This thing will still be moving with the wind, you know, even if it's not too windy and it's a little bit dodgy. So, you know, it's not very secure at all. That's one thing that I will say, is that it doesn't have a lot of stability. And you know, with the rain, because it comes out from the back, I mean, I should have known this going into it, but I think you guys should know this as well. With rear mounted awnings, as they come out from the back, obviously it narrows, right? So that means that you have got a very small amount of shade and a very small amount of cover for rain coming in through the side. So, you know, you've got, you know, this much room, and if it's just drizzling, you're fine. But if there's any sort of sideways rain, you don't stand a chance. Unfortunately, you're going to get wet. I would also like to say with the sun as well, is that because it is very narrow, it doesn't actually have a lot of shade unless you park your car in a correct way or the sun is directly over the top of you. It doesn't really cover you much. So you actually end up having to sit all the way out to the side, because it is quite a skinny awning. You end up having to sit all the way to the side of your vehicle just to get that little slither of shade, which has happened to me quite a few times on a number of trips now, which is annoying, because, you know, you want to sit underneath, you know, the awning and, you know, and also get stuff out of your car when you want to. So it's a little bit annoying that way. But overall, you know, it's been a good awning for me. It's been a good learning experience, figuring out what I do and what I don't want to see in an awning. I'll probably move this awning on to someone else. I'll probably either sell it or gift it to someone. So, and probably swap it out for some sort of 270-degree awning. That's the plan anyway. And I'll probably set the awning further forward so that I can get that cover back here for when the 270-degree awning is out. So that's my experience so far with the Sunseeker awning. I will keep it for a little bit longer. I'll keep testing it out a little bit. But yeah, ultimately, I don't think this is the right awning for me. But it is an interesting awning. I have appreciated the fact that it's different, and the dome, people always comment on, oh, that's a dome awning. I've never seen one of those before. So it's kind of cool for a little bit of novelty factor. And as long as there's not too much wind and rain around, like, you're pretty fine. But yeah, it doesn't throw a lot of shade, unfortunately, for us. So it doesn't, you know, it's very difficult to you know, for it to actually do it. Its job. So I think a 270-degree awning is going to be what I'll be upgrading to and what I'll be getting next. So if you have any questions about this awning, guys, make sure you put in the comment section and I'll be happy to answer it. And if this video helped you out, make sure you give it a like so other people that are interested in this awning can see it too. Alrighty, thank you guys. I'll see you in the next video.